Wisconsin Foodie would like to thank the following underwriters.
Did you find that roasted leg that I stuck in the freezer the other day? Is it? Yeah! So what we're going to do, wild rice arancini. For over 20,000 years, our Indigenous brothers and sisters found this place, and they stayed here because of the abundance of food. I find that to be such a compelling storyline for why I choose to live, cook, and farm in Wisconsin. I just think that this is the breadbasket of the entire Americas. So we have wild rice arancini. This wild rice is harvested for us sustainably, and it's done by hand, traditionally in a canoe, which I think makes it some of the most compelling ingredients to use in the kitchen. This arancini is very simple. We fully cook the wild rice. We take whipped potatoes from our dinner line and we smash all those together. We caramelize some onions. We get some mushrooms in there, throw some umami or seasoning from the Deliciouser, a little bit of salt, and this is what you get. A little ball of absolute delight. Now today, I want to accent the flavors of those wild rice arancinis in the usual style of the Driftless Cafe, and that means whatever is fresh and local and seasonal, we're going to work that into just about every single dish we put out. So I've got some ramps that have been foraged just outside of town here. I've got some lion's mane mushroom. I've got some oyster mushroom. And then of course, you know, we hit it with a little bit of garlic and onion too, just to accent that allium flavor in the ramp. And then we're gonna plate this up with a little bit of sweet potato puree from my guy, Levi Miller. And then of course, a little Sartori SarVecchio Parmesan. The idea for this dish is to bring all these historical and current ingredients that are found in the state of Wisconsin into one dish. And I think that's a true expression of what Wisconsin food means to me. So let's get started. Ramps, for those of you that don't know, are a wild allium that comes from the forest floors right here in Wisconsin, specifically in the Driftless region. I love these little babies. These are like the first flavors of spring for me. And they're a really, really strong garlic and onion flavor. Oh yeah. Hey, here's a fun fact. You know what I do with these guys? I soak these in water for about 24 hours. And then in my permaculture spread out at the owl farm, I go and throw these in a trench and then bury them and wait for the next year to come around. So maybe I'll have a ramp patch of my own. The last and most delightful step of what we do here at the Driftless Cafe with the wild rice arancini, we give it a quick dip in rice flour, and then egg whites, and then potato flakes. What I want is something that's gluten-free. I want it so I can, if I had to, I could freeze these little balls. I could take them though, I could pop them into the deep fryer and pow, pow, pow. Suddenly, you've got lunch. We're gonna head over to the stove, get this thing fired off. Let's fire this up. Hey, thanks for making the trip with us. Now we're on the hotline at the Driftless Cafe. Thousands of meals have been prepared in this corner, all with precision and accuracy. Let's start by popping that in. Oh yeah, that's a good sound, isn't it? We get that garlic in there. What I want to do is I just want to soften these ingredients a little bit, sweat some of that juice out of them. Now that those onions are starting to become translucent, I can smell a little bit of the toast on the garlic. Everything smells right in the world. It's time to add the mushrooms. Boomers in. Here's something fun. Now that you've got the mushrooms in the pan, you've got your heat kind of going at it, you can smell it starting to work a little bit, I'm gonna throw in salt. The reason I wanna salt this early is it pulls out the moisture in the mushrooms. Mushrooms are like 95+% water. So that salt helps draw out some of that water and allows that mushroom flavor to really caramelize and compound. While this is working down, it's time to drop those balls. Now we're gonna go black pepper. And then just a pinch of chili flake. You can see that these mushrooms now have kind of collapsed. Some of their cell walls are starting to come apart, which is great. Lets that moisture come out. Cook it down. Next up, ramps. Ramps are a really different beast. They are, because they're wild, because these are very young plants, it smells intoxicating. You get like the best parts of onion, the best parts of garlic, all kind of coming together. And for me, I always get like a little bit of a forest aroma too. That could be because it's a really strong memory sensation for me. But the smell of the mushrooms, the ramps, the garlic, the onion, it's pretty hard to have a bad bite when you've got all these beautiful local fresh ingredients. Okay, I'm gonna turn off the heat. Let's check these balls. Our farmer Levi Miller has kept us in sweet potatoes all winter long. So what I like to do is roast them off, puree with a little bit of cream, salt and black pepper. I'm gonna take just a little bit of this mushroom and ramp medley. I'm gonna lay that right there. That's nice. Now let's get our balls on there. Now we're gonna come back. One more beautiful pull of ramps and mushrooms. Last but not least, Sartori SarVecchio Parmesan. I mean, honestly, it's some of the best cheese in the world, modeled after what was previously thought of as some of the best cheese in the world. And quite frankly, I've heard from chefs in Italy that the Sartori SarVecchio that is being produced now tastes more like Parmesan Reggiano did before it modernized. That means if you want that real deal Parm Reg flavor, Sartori SarVecchio is where it's at. Here we go. Ooh, I like that there's a little bit of resistance, like a little crunch on the outside of that ball. Oh God. That's hot. So hot. It's so good though. You really get the richness of the wild rice, first and foremost. You get that consistency, that little bit of pop still in those rice grains. It balances nicely with the chili flake and the black pepper. You get the sweetness from that sweet potato puree and so much delicious garlic goodness and kind of like meaty texture in those mushrooms. There you have it, the weekly special. Wild rice arancini, sweet potato puree, driftless mycology, oyster, and lion's mane mushrooms, and wild foraged ramps, all garnished with that beautiful Sartori SarVecchio Parmesan. Check us out. Hit that like button, blow up, subscribe, follow along for every week's weekly bites. Boom. Cap, no cap.